actually start the show, right?
Yep, we live.
Oh,
What's up, y'all?
Hey, who here right now?
What? We out here in the sunny South Dallas.
Episode 2, Flip the Script podcast. You checking in?
Okay. Take 2. We got Dallas, Texas in the building. Chicago.
Dallas. Hey, Chi-Town.
Whoa.
Hey.
Hey, shout out to all my people from the Triple D, man.
From the Triple D. Who else we got? Come on, go ahead and let us know where y'all from.
I see a real life street stars. I see a Juju Thomas, you know. Check in with us.
Okay. Man.
Okay.
We need to make.
Okay, wait a minute.
Keep them lights coming in. Man, I see you.
Okay.
Yeah.
What?
Nah,
Man,
yeah,
so what y'all doing right
Where
now?
are y'all at? Okay, Chicago.
Yes.
Hold up.
Where y'all at? What we doing?
Over here.
We got a lot of Chicago in the building.
I'm from the STL.
St. Louis.
Hometown,
Kings
St.
Highway,
Louis. St. Louis.
Yeah.
Real natural bridge.
Hey,
Kings
Texas.
Highway.
Where you from Texas? Miss Triple D, H-Town.
Dallas.
Atlanta, Georgia. Georgia, y'all. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
I've been out there right
Man,
now.
we got
What's up,
Mississippi.
Mississippi?
We got
Hey.
Exactly. You light up with your boo finna tune into a good little. Okay.
Don't be arguing with that man after our show, okay? We are not responsible.
Okay.
Period.
We got more Georgia in the building, man.
Y'all might want to get y'all drink right now.
Y'all get a little
Pour up.
Join us.
A little something.
Okay. Oh, Phoenix, that's where my family is from. Shout out to you.
Oh, and Iowa. in the building.
Yeah, Iowa in the building.
All
Okay, ain't nobody going to Iowa. Girl,
It's a little far.
it's cold up there. I'm
You can
telling
come with
you.
us, though,
Us Texas folks would not be
Hey,
able
hey,
to survive.
give me some Hawkeyes tickets. We at the game. Don't worry about what they talking about.
All right. The link is in the chat. Y'all want to send it out before we get started?
Yeah, come on.
Y'all good?
Give me 1 second. We can do the intros, you know. Have
Yo.
stop into it.
Y'all probably like, who is we talking to right now? Who is we finna get
Nah, it's us.
tuned
We appreciate
into?
y'all tuning in, man.
We do.
We got
We
a
really
hot little
appreciate
take
it.
episode for y'all.
It's starting off a little slow, but stay right there. I promise you will not be disappointed. We got a fire show coming your way. Oh, he said smoking something good. Oh, she said, okay, baby. Oh, she turned up. Turn up, girl.
Okay, smoking it. Good. Okay. I am on your level. I am with you.
She said, me and my boo not gonna be doing no fighting. We
Okay.
are relaxed
They
over
said we
here
don't need no
Chilling.
drink.
with the herbs of nature.
Man.
All right. So welcome. If you've been here before, welcome back. If it's your first time, hey. You are tuned in to your new favorite show. I'm Lo.
It's your girl, Kay.
Hey, my name's B.
And it's that girl, Bree. And this is Flip the Script, y'all.
Coming to you raw and uncut.
Okay.
Huh?
Let's
Let's
get
get
it.
into it.
Let's get it.
So if you were with us last week, I'm sure you can tell that our panel has a little more estrogen.
Just a little bit. We
Try
have to
leave
switch
me
it up a
alone
little
myself
bit.
today, but,
Yeah,
You know.
Yeah, shout out to Nick. He had daddy responsibilities today, but he will be joining us
Always
in the
put the family
future.
first.
So, Brandon, you think you can hold it down on your own?
Man, come on. Y'all ain't saying nothing I ain't never heard before.
Ooh, he sound a little confident
All
though.
right, ladies, so get ready to be in that chat, lighting them up.
I like it. I like
Since he
it.
feel like, okay.
Since he want that.
I'm just giving
You
you.
know,
I'm giving y'all the real.
He want that energy. He ready for it. So
I'm gonna give y'all
I
the
like
real,
it.
Well,
man.
let's
I
dive
like
right
it.
in.
Oh.
Let's dive right in. All right. How do y'all feel about married men hanging out with their single friends?
Ooh. Well, I would say if you can really trust your dude, then hey, like it shouldn't be a problem. To be honest, I should be able to trust my dude to go out, have fun, come home, and be done.
Okay.
No,
No, I have a question, Bree. I get it. I'm not talking about just going out. I'm saying going out with his single friends, men who are
But I would hope my dude can stay on his 10 toes, not be heavily influenced
Right.
by his single friends.
Okay.
To know what he got at home and handle up, right?
Okay.
I mean, I feel like
Go ahead.
I
Go
was
ahead.
just say, as a single man with married friends, like, you know, they operate different. They know the rules of engagement. When the girls walk up, they're not the first to engage. They send the single guys to go do that. And like, at least for the people I hang around with, you know, they tend to, like I said, always respect and honor their significant others. Like, you know, the reason that they're with us because they've been out here and they understand that what they got is their prized possession. So I don't get too many at least of my friends that are coming out here for anything more than a good time. You know, the opportunity may or may not present itself, but they don't necessarily engage, and it's just another thing that comes and goes. It's just fly by night.
I feel like I'm gonna trust my husband to go out and enjoy his time with his friends. Sometimes you got to watch the friends though, because they don't always be for the relationship. So they may see him and want him to go out and get a girl number or try to be sneaky. But I feel like if I send him out, I'm gonna trust him to do right. And you know, you just got to make sure that the friends are also supportive of the relationship. And I have some married friends too. So I mean, we always keep it very cute when we go out. It's very just cute. So
I have a question though.
Go ahead.
So, do you hold your friends accountable, your married friends accountable, if they, you know, may slip off a little bit? Like, do you say, hey, bro, like...
No, I check all that at the door because most of them, they're fiancés and wives I have a relationship with. Like, I truly, like, feel like these are the women that are for them. I've known them long enough that we've been through the mud, left and right. Like, I know I've seen you through a lot. So to see you with this current woman in the situation that you're in, I tend to be like, for it. If you weren't for it, I'd let you know ahead of the time. And so the fact that I support the relationship and what they got going on, I personally
He's the
don't.
supportive friend.
I personally don't put him in the positions like that. I don't put him in the positions.
He's the supportive friend. You can trust him.
I don't put him in the positions. Like, you know, I'm sure that they might have friends that might want them to revert back to their old ways. And if they do,
most definitely.
and if you want to go back there for a night, you know, maybe some guys do. But all I tell them is don't bring it home. Don't ruin your house. Don't ruin your home life over it. Like,
hey.
Because you've been there.
Hold
you
on.
already know what that is. That's a one night thing. You got a lifetime thing at home, though.
So I have a question.
Preach.
So I have a question. You're saying preach, Bree, but let me make sure I'm hearing this right. Brandon, you're saying that you would support if he wanted to do a one night thing, if long as he don't take it back home. Is that correct?
No, I'm not supporting that at all.
Okay.
I think, like, if you with me and the situation comes and she approaches us as a group or a unit and you the one that gets shows, I leave it on you to make the decision. But there's no point in which you gonna come to me and ask me, should I deal with her? And I'm gonna be like, yeah.
You support it. Okay.
No, I say you got the number and you did what you did. That's on you.
Okay,
But
so
you come to me, then
I got you.
I'm not with that.
So we have a comment.
Jamal
Hold
in
on,
the
we have
chat
a comment.
though,
Wait, Bree,
talking
Bree.
about women do it all the time.
But no, I mean, I think that is true. So
Let's
I
flip
was
the
actually
script
going to
on
spin off on
it.
that. Let's flip the script.
Flip the script
So
on it.
saying that women do it all the time, women, do you feel like we hold each other accountable truly and honestly in our friendships when our friends are married and you want to go? Do you feel like we?
No, absolutely. Like I recently had a birthday party. My married friend, she's been married for like, I think 3 years now. And we did go out to a couple bars and clubs and it was very professional. There was no guys trying to do anything inappropriate. And if they did, I would have checked her to say, no, like you got something at home that's good. Like that's the kind of friend that I am. I'm not going to let them ruin their household just by coming out with me because you know, this is what we're striving for. We all want to get to that level too. That's just the friend that I am personally. But
So question, if your friend's household was in shambles, man or woman, and they're coming to you and saying that I feel like, you know, my man's stepping out on me, or I don't, when they go out, do you think then you would support them moving that same way? Or would they still be checked? Would they still be held accountable?
I mean, so I recently went through a similar situation where a close friend of mine, his wife has been kind of divulging, I guess is the word, of the relationship. She hasn't been abiding by the vows upon which they set at that altar. And at the point in which he feels like it's done, and all signs lead to the fact that this relationship is bonded by law, but truly and beyond other, like they're done. If you want to go engage with some other woman at the night when we out, like by all means, because we know when you go home, like you and her, y'all aren't what y'all once were. So if you have to go find something new for you, then I support it.
So that makes it right because you're still bonded by law.
But she broke the vow first. She stepped in and let somebody into the relationship.
So that makes it okay.
I went low on this one.
Okay.
When something is bonded like that, it's just like, go ahead and nip it in the bud before you start messing with me.
She did.
Ain't nobody got time for
She
that.
did.
So
Because that always comes back,
She didn't. Like
negatively. Period.
But that
It
was
never
our
comes
problem.
back.
She didn't, and so when it came back negatively on her, it's like, all right, well, if you did you, I'm gonna do me. I feel like that goes both ways.
So I
don't feel like you would abide by a man doing you any type of way, and you would still stick by him.
True, but
To
at the
that
same
part.
To her point,
That's
nip
part.
it.
You're not standing by him on
go
that.
ahead and nip that in the bud.
I mean, sometimes that takes longer. Sometimes it takes longer to nip it in the bud by law than it does to go out in the club and nip it in the bud.
Okay, well, don't be in the same
Don't
house
be
with me
out,
still.
right? Don't be outside
and
trying to
thinking you
sow
gonna do
search.
that.
because I definitely think
Hey,
Nah.
when he pays all the bills, you welcome to leave. Let me talk about it. He pay all the bills. You welcome to leave.
He paying all the bills.
Yeah, so you welcome to leave when you want to.
Here go in my situation.
Yeah,
That would be like
I was
that.
saying, when he pay all the bills, you welcome to leave.
I mean, even if she is the one that's paying the bills,
Right,
or
what
he's
if she
paying
the
the
one?
bills, it's still them. So his money is their money because they're still binded by law.
Two wrongs don't make a right.
Right
Right
Exactly.
about
I don't
They
think
don't.
two wrongs don't make a right, and I think it's a double standard because men can be with women in a relationship
Yeah.
and they can cheat all day, and it can come back. He can beg his way back. She can take him back. But as soon as a woman is fed up and she steps out to do her own thing, all hell breaks loose. So I feel like y'all don't abide by that same standard of it's quicker to nip it in the bud in the club than it is with your vows of what you're bonded by. So I don't necessarily think that's a fair judgment just because she is doing wrong. And I think as a friend, I'm just asking, not even saying I wouldn't do what you doing in your situation, but as a friend, why not help your friend in marriage counseling?
So let me see. Let me see if I'm understanding your point the right way. You say that
You want to dig that deep though?
when guys are in a relationship, you're saying that they're able to step out freely, and at the point that they get caught, their woman takes them back. But when the situation is flipped and a woman steps out on a man, you feel like the men aren't as open or forgiving to accepting the woman back.
That it was actually not my point, but I do agree with that 100%.
I'm not sure I understood. Like, I wasn't sure if I was going to be able to answer this question right. So I was like, right, reiterate what you're trying to say to me again.
No, that wasn't my point, but I do agree with that. And I want to know, like, what's up with that? Why is it that when men are cheated, it's expected for them to come back, for us to forgive, to understand? Am I wrong?
Know that part.
As soon as we cheat, I can't trust her no more. She's this, she's that. Our name is in the street. We are dogged. We are looked at. But you don't think the same temptation that roll up on y'all rolls up on us?
No, I know it does. I think that what you're doing is making a generality out of it. I feel like that's not true of all men or of all women. I know of guys who have taken a woman back after cheating, and other women who've done the same. Like, it depends on the person.
What's
I
the
feel like if
percentage
you
of
want, if you want to say what's more likely, you're right. You're more likely for a man to leave you after one incident. You are for a woman.
As good as a woman that you have been, you could have been 99% perfect.
But 9 times out of 10, that lies in a man's ego, which we hold.
So we don't have ego.
No, I didn't
We
say
don't
that.
have pride.
I didn't say that y'all didn't have pride or ego, but for us, I feel like in different situations, we wear that on our sleeves differently than y'all do. Like for us to go out And our man,
It's because
yeah.
y'all worried about what everybody
Yeah, I
else
was gonna
thinks
say,
of
our
y'all.
boy is
And
the
not
one
about
that-
the
It's about
love.
your
It's,
friends,
uh,
the
And not about the
privacy,
love.
what's going on between
It's not about the love.
you and
Women,
your girl.
Yeah.
we will get dogged by our
We are
friends,
emotional.
Yes.
telling us that we stupid, telling us
Absolutely.
that we are all of this, baby. We would say, okay, and your point, I'm about to go lay up with my man and be happy. We don't care about the
Yeah.
What
outside.
anybody else got to
I was
say.
gonna say,
To
I
us,
feel
it's a-
like I feel like the emotional attachment, like we were going to, like you were saying, is a little bit stronger when you have women. They y'all sometimes latch onto the dudes more tightly than the men will latch onto the women. Fair or not, that's just what it is. And so it's like, you know, y'all will stick around for some things that I'm not necessarily sure that the guys are gonna stick around for. You know, you call a spade a spade what it is. It's just the facts
In
of what
the
it
comments, though, people is agreeing with Brandon.
is.
Like,
Yeah, cool.
my man cheat on me is my woman cheat on me. I'm sorry, my woman cheat on me is done, and we can be cool from a distance.
No, that's like
It
something.
was this
They
ruthless.
done.
Yeah, they just be done.
that
you
one
But
know?
I've actually been in a relationship where the dude did take me back about 3 or 4 times. So
Man, you went
there,
3 or 4 times on him.
to count, yeah, I would say about good 4 times.
Oh, wow.
We have went back and
So
forth,
that,
but
wait, so
I
that meant
cheated
that
on him 3 times.
so uniform from a long time ago. Then this wasn't what you wanted, but you stuck around.
Yeah.
Why?
Like he had those
Hmm.
qualities
That worked for
about
you.
him that I just loved. But then there was those qualities that it was like we're missing some potential here. Like you have the potential to be something I see that I want to be with,
Mhm.
but you're not putting in the work to work that potential and to grow into that man that I see in you. So that's why it was a struggle for me to let go, because I wanted to see him glow. I wanted to see him glow up, and I wanted to be there like when it happened, because I love this man. I want to be with him, but I just can't stick around
Mhm.
for you not to activate something that I see in you. It really just hurts my heart, and it just like makes me tap out.
Okay, but
I
we're
don't-
feeling like that. You don't feel like it was just better how you said nip it in the bud with the married man than the cheat? Like, is that not easier? You are very valid for all of your feelings. But why not just say, hey, you're not living up to the potential that I see. I think I'm okay with being friends. I want to help you get to that potential, but just not being your helpmate while
Right.
you reach that potential.
So-
And this is why communication is so important in relationships, because we did not have that communication to where we can be that vulnerable for me to say that to him. You know, if I said that to him, I swear he would definitely have insecurities, and you know, it would have just made our relationship a little bit harder, because he knows how I feel about that, and he would try to impress me and try to do things outside of his way to, you know, to fulfill what I'm wanting from him, instead of actually growing into that.
So you felt like you cheated because there was a lack of security you felt in a relationship? You
It
felt like,
wasn't security, it was a lack of man, if that makes masculinity.
masculinity?
Oh.
So you feel like you were carrying him.
In a way, yes.
So that's so, I mean,
Was he
okay.
a people pleaser? He wanted to please you.
Right. He wanted
Yeah.
to please me all the time. You know, he had sisters, you know, he had a single mom. So I can understand the situation. I can understand how he developed and why he's the way he is. But at the same time, as a woman that wants a man,
Mhm.
you know, and you're, you know, thinking about marriage and thinking about kids with this person,
Yeah.
it's like, damn.
You were more so the leader. You were leading him.
Right.
So I
and
got
then
like-
that gets
Leading
tiring
you.
as a woman. And I see why we ain't supposed to be the leaders.
So I got a question. So would you have preferred that you were more into him? Because it sounds like he was more into you.
He was definitely more into me.
So let's get into that. Because they say that the
He was
man,
definitely more into me for sure.
they say that the man, your man should always love you
A
more
little
than
bit
you,
more.
a little bit more.
Yeah.
So is that true? Because it seemed like that didn't work out in this situation. Should the woman be more in love with the man, or how does that go as far as?
That's hard.
I mean, when it comes to me, I'm more in love with my purpose. Now, you know, I'm after what I'm after, and the woman that's right for me, when I find her, she's going to be somebody that I feel like is not only going to align like with where I'm going, but morals and values, we're gonna have that in common. Because like I said, no girl wants a guy that's like sniffing up behind you 24/7. Anytime you do something,
on.
like no. It's a difference. It's a
We are
difference.
possessed.
It's a
Okay.
difference. It's a difference. It's a
I want
difference.
it.
It's a
I
difference.
want
It's a
it.
difference
Come
between
with
having a
it.
man that's interested in you and you know that at any point y'all can connect and there's nothing, but there's also something to like having a man that you feel like is like cling to you. Y'all don't want that.
Okay, boom. So let's talk
y'all
about
don't
that.
want
A
that.
man
Y'all don't
that's
want
interested in you. So how do you decipher or differentiate between the interested and the eligible?
in the eligible? Like
eligible.
what do you mean
Like
by
who's-
eligible?
Who,
Like who's worthy of like
who is it that you feel like you're just interested in versus who's worthy of you?
Are you talking about as a woman or as a man? How do I
Both. I
decide?
want both. I have women and men here on this panel.
I mean, a
so-
woman could be eligible just by the way she looks, but whether she's worthy of you defines her qualities.
No,
Like,
interested versus eligible.
okay, well,
Okay.
a woman could be eligible just off her qualities. She should just look good. She's eligible to be. She's just eligible. But my interest is really going to peak if we
Yeah.
are really truly aligned. Do we share morals? Do we share values? Share family background?
That's
You
what we mean
know,
by
like-
eligible.
Yeah, I
When we
think
say eligible,
I think
it's like-
eligible is more your
Eligible.
background.
I would eventually
I would say-
probably marry.
I would say as
Yeah.
a man, I like
Because
a woman could
interested-
be eligible to date just because.
But you also can be interested. You can be, yeah, you
That's
can be
eligible to
interested.
me.
No, no. Yeah, if you look good,
You can be eligible without there being no interest. You can be eligible for a lot of things and not have no interest in the woman.
I think
Like,
I think the
not long
opposite.
term, not long
I think
term.
the opposite. I think that you can. I think
That's
you
how
can
feel
be
about it.
interested and not be eligible. Like this man might not be eligible to be my husband, but I'm interested in him. He got some money. He
If
got
you
good
want-
company.
Okay, so that's the way. Okay, if that's how you looking at it. Then
That's
you're
how
right.
I mean,
Okay,
that's how I'm
if that's how
looking
you
at
look
it.
at it, then you're right. There are
Okay.
women that you're right. If that's the way you want, I'm interested in her, but she's not eligible for no wife quality.
Exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah. That's what I'm
I was just
scared
saying,
of.
that word, the word eligible,
on, y'all.
it depends on how
I
you
agree.
how you
scary.
define
I
it, how
agree.
you
Is
define
eligible
it.
scary?
But
No,
how?
seriously.
How is it scary?
You think it's scary?
To be eligible?
I guess if you are not ready for that type of commitment, if you're not ready for that type of, relationship with that person,
Mm-hmm.
then yeah, it can be scary. Most definitely. But you gotta tell me a little bit more.
Okay, it says I love my baby more than she loves me, and she shows it, and I show it, but I do respect her space and her fun. Okay, so he loves her more than she loves him. I'm not gonna lie, I've always heard that is the way that it should be. That the man finds you a
I
man
ain't never
that
heard
loves
that.
you
I have
more
heard
than you
that.
love him.
I ain't never heard
that.
it in my life.
Because as women, right, we are nurturers. We're gonna give 110% just
Anyway,
off the rip
because we're with you.
because that's just who we are.
right.
So you got to have your man a little bit more interested in you, just because. If
because
not-
they're creatures of temptation.
yes.
So he has to be a little
we
more
not creatures of
interested
temptation.
because
Remember, we lost in the garden.
no, he lost. We were
He
tempted,
started.
but we were able to tempt him.
Mm.
We were tempted by the serpent, right? But that's a good point because Adam was doing his very best with God before who came? A woman.
Mhm.
A woman is able.
tempest?
A woman is able to lead a man to temptation.
We are the tempest.
We are what?
We
The
are the
tempest.
people that we are the one that tempt Adam to say, "Hey, baby, you want some too?"
Right.
I mean-
So that's what I feel like that's what we're saying, that because women are more so willing to tempt a man, if your man is a little bit more into you, it helps him turn away from that temptation from a woman, because that's what will be coming.
Is that
For
what it
You got
takes?
women in your
Uh,
ear.
It takes just a little bit more love. Why can't it just be
Mhm.
equal and you just say, "Hey, baby, I love you," and that be done with it? Why does it take a little bit more for a man?
I mean, women are a man's temptation, but no woman wants an undisciplined man.
That part.
The
Man,
fact
high five.
I would say, like, no woman wants an undisciplined man. And so if you're not disciplined in your sexual temptations, if you're not disciplined in your finances, you're not disciplined in your
That
physical
part.
life, no woman really wants an undisciplined man. So sure, if you want to say women are temptation, sure, I walk out every day. There's a temptation. Left,
It
right
does
in the
start with the
middle.
man.
Like, you know, just by the things that are attractive to a man. But what y'all value is a man that's disciplined, that he can look at the temptation. Like I said, you go out with your married friends, come out with you. That's the discipline that y'all looking for. Y'all looking for him to be able to look in the face of a woman that wants to give him everything and still look at home and be like, but I got it all where I need to be and I'm disciplined.
But
enough
how
to do that.
how many men truly possess that discipline? Because if that was the case, where does this cheating with married argument come from that all men gonna cheat?
I mean,
and you know, all men gonna cheat. I mean, although that's not true. That's what we are taught. Men are dogs. Men, they are tempted creatures. That's the whole reason they say you want to be your man's peace. You want to make sure he's happy at home, because if not, when he step out. So I get what you're saying, and you're 100% right. That is what women want. But where's the reality in that?
That's a hard number to quantify. I can't sit here and tell you 30%, 40%, 50% of men are disciplined individuals. That's something that you, as when you going through the dating process, vet your man. Ask him, what do you do weekly? Like, what's something that you do regimentally? Like, for somebody to ask me, weekly, I work out 4 or 5 times a day. Every Monday, I go buy a stock. I read every morning. So, like, you get a feel that there are things that I do that align me with discipline. That came through growing up, being through my uncles, my father, sports. I just developed that. But like, that discipline is what maintains me, because that muscle, it can be flexed in a bunch of different ways. And I think that is what kind of builds the attraction, not only around myself, but around men like me. It's just like, don't nobody, like I said, if anybody can get to you, you're worthless. Like, but if you have some value to yourself, you somebody that holds some standard to you, you're not going to just fall for anything. You're just going to be able to stand in your own and be able to know, like, it is what it is and continue down your path.
I just feel like it's a mindset thing. Like, if you don't want to do those things, you're not going to do it. You have to make that decision in your mind before anything.
You gotta make the decision in your mind. If you're talking about a particular woman, that she's worth it, but then she also has to give you something that's worth being disciplined about. Like, you know what I'm saying? If she ain't somebody that you find,
of course, it gotta be something worth, like, you know.
Yeah, she gotta be worth something. If she not somebody that you feel like we're equally yoked, or that 5-10 years down the line, I can see this still working, because for whatever disalignment that y'all might have in a relationship that might cause y'all to falter, then you're right. You might find a man that's ready to step out because he was always already willing to step out on you, because you weren't right for him anyway. He's just been leading you along the path.
I have a question. I don't know if this is a question you were going to ask, but like, how do you know when you're talking to someone, whether like this is the person I'm going to take serious and go to like the next level, or this is just going to be like somebody I just like put on the shelf, or like we just talking?
It's a general conversation. Like, if I'm talking to you and I say, like I said.
How long does that take you though? Is it like a month, 2 months?
It depends on the woman. It depends on the woman. I mean, I say from a man's perspective.
Because women, we know.
It depends. It depends on how soon you ask her those questions that are of value. Some men can really play the middle and play the field. You know, you ask you questions that'll lead you to the path of sex. But there's ones who are really interested in you, who really want to build a future with you, and they'll ask you deeper questions that are more centered around their values and their alignment, to know, like, say you somebody that you don't eat pork. Well, if your woman talk about every morning I eat bacon and sausage, we might not work. Or if you somebody that say, look, I work out all the time. You walk to a woman, she said, I don't work out at all. You know what I'm saying?
Align with each other.
Y'all might not be in alignment. So you'll know very quickly if there's somebody that, well, damn, she still look good. So, you know, I might not be able to be here for the long. Yeah, I'm interested. I might not be here for the long run, but eligible for marriage, I don't know about that, because we're not in alignment on the core things that make me who I am.
Okay. So I want you to break the code real quick. What's some of the conversations that men will have when they are just looking for sex? Like, you know, let the women know so they can be on the lookout.
So we can know.
Or we can know. Okay, if the conversation is always taking a turn down this road, he not really looking at me as a woman that's eligible for him. He just a little interested. Let us know.
You mean like what are things that he might ask you?
Like what's
how
is the conversation different?
Like, okay, this he ain't really.
Here you go. You can just know come up. What you doing? What you gonna say?
I mean, if he only ever asks you what you doing, or like
WYD, he WYDing you.
I mean,
he ain't
WYD. That's a tough one, because like I said, I can't speak for every man, but like I said,
It's
You'll
general.
know, like if a man, I always feel like people have a public life, a private life, and what they call like a secret life. Public life being what we show to each other. Private life being when maybe your
This
closest
is true.
friends like know about you, and the secret life are the things that you only know about yourself.
Right.
And so if you have a man that only asks you things, or you can find that these are like public information about him, he's not really that into you. But if he starts bringing you to a deeper level, he wants to bring you into his private life. He gives you some secrets that you only know about you. You know how deep y'all are going, because those are things that he only shares with the closest people to him. So it's like, I feel like from that degree, if you look at it like that, and you can understand, and as a woman have some intuition and perspective upon which the questions he gives you, then you'll know where he is with you.
Sometimes though, but you
Kayla
can also get
frustrated.
into like a situationship where it be like a half relationship where he's still pouring into
Speak,
you.
Caleb. Speak,
And he
Caleb.
giving you all kinds of
She's
gems and
frustrated, y'all.
everything, but it's still not going to the place that you want it to go. So like, how do you really know? Because
So
in the female mind, we like, okay, this man is feeling
Y'all,
me.
help us help
He
Caleb.
feeling me.
Okay.
But you
But
said-
you like, this ain't going nowhere. We just gonna situation this shit
Help us.
for 12 months and then we go our separate ways. So,
But you
I think,
said-
I need to know.
I'm just curious when you say he pouring into you. What though is he pouring into you? What is that cup full of olive? What is he pouring into you when
I'm
you say
saying,
that?
like, if you spend a significant amount of time with somebody, y'all are talking about different things. You may even talk about your goals. You may talk about futures. You may talk about, things that you're working on with your job. You having deep conversations, but still, it may not.
But in no
These
conversation,
conversations-
but I got a question. I got a
It might not
question.
lead to connection.
But in those conversations, is it an individual? Like, this is what I'm working toward, or is
Exactly.
this what we are working
Exactly.
And if you're
And
not
that's what I was
thinking
gonna-
that way,
and
and
that's
if
what I
I'm
was
thinking
gonna
that
say.
way,
In the-
then it's not gonna go anywhere.
If it's
Yeah.
not we,
Or
if
even
it's just
after he
I.
know, he might ask you those questions about your goals and everything to get to know who you are, right? Because that's what you do when you're dating, when you're courting someone. But then it will get to a point where if you tell him, I'm looking to make this my goal, XYZ, I feel like I have the potential here.
Mhm.
Is he coming back to help you meet those things and asking you, what are you doing to follow up with your goals? Because at the end of the day, I don't just care about hearing it. I want to see you succeed in what you told me that you want to do, because
That part.
I'm going to be by your side. When you accomplish this, you can pull me up, like we can kind of be that team for each other, not, in competition, but a
That's a
team.
good
So I think it starts off as conversation, as B said, but then I think it ends up from their actions. Their actions will speak
louder.
very loud, exactly, to
true.
let you know what it is. Yeah, I agree. Christina said you're supposed to be a team. And I feel like that might be a mark that women today are missing. Sometimes it feels like we're in competition
Mm.
with
Not a competition.
with our men. And so, because
I think I've been in a relationship like that before, and that's weird because you don't really understand the competition, and you're trying to level with, okay, are we trying to be together, or are we just trying to look good together?
So
Or
I
are we
got
just,
I got a question. What were some of the things you felt like y'all competed at?
For example, like I said, like looking good. Like, okay, I go give me a fit. I look fly.
They competed with you about
Okay,
looks.
I
That's
get a fit. I look
surprising.
fly. And then, you see me, you just like, well, shoot, let me go pull out my Prada and blah, blah. I'm like, man, like, I don't even have Prada on. I don't wear Prada. But why are you pulling out designer just because I look like this? Like, like, that's what I be saying. Like, you trying to like,
I'm
I
saying
don't know.
deeper than that. I'm saying as far as what social media shows you, and how like now the ultimate goal is to get the bag, to have the bag, to be the bag. So
but that's what I mean. So now he's flaunting how much money he's making because now he done put his designer on. You know what I'm saying? Like now you're taking the focus off of us just going out to go wherever we going to, when you go out, you got to be seen and you got to be noticed. That's the competition, because now it's not about us no more. It's about you.
You can feel when somebody not like aligned with you, like if y'all not on the same team. Because I've dated someone who, like, I've been more successful than them, or like I made more money, and instead of them supporting me, I just felt like it was more of like a, you do you and I'm gonna do me, instead of us like working together. Like, okay, this is where we want to go. How can we help each other get to that level? You trying to have your own plan, we could work together. It don't have to be a competition.
Because the higher I get, the higher you're going to get.
Exactly.
Because we are that team. So
Right.
as my man, you should know that even if I do have more of an increase, that is just going to be used whenever you fall short. I'm able to give you that increase.
But
I don't
that's
have to
good.
step on you just because I'm making more. That is what you would think that the thought process would be.
But that's the thing. Guys have this thing called pride, and they don't like when they pride gets stepped on. Sometimes, dudes don't know to collaborate with a woman. They've only seen individual characteristics. For me, example, like I've only seen my mom do her thing and seen my dad do his thing. I've never seen them collaborate on anything. I don't remember going on a trip with my mom and my dad. So if I'm seeing individual characteristics, in a supposedly a marriage, then what am I going to bring to another relationship? I'm always going to have these individual characteristics that, you're going to have to tell me, babe, like, I want you to include me in this. I want you to help me, with this, or, just make him more inclusive of your life. So then maybe that would click. Cause some dudes don't know.
So do you do that, Kayla? Do you feel like you are expressive with when you're feeling a type of way about the man that you're dating? Do you communicate those things with him to let him know, hey, you're pouring into me, but like, are we going toward the same goals, or is it just you start feeling a certain type of way and just?
It really depends. Like I feel like, so I've had a situation where I was like dating someone, and like I said, I felt like I was going a certain way, he was going a certain way. And like initially you kind of just feel uncomfortable, but then you kind of like, I don't know if I'm tripping. Like, is this really how it is? Or like, is it really what, the situation? So I haven't addressed it head on. Like, are you feeling this type of way because I'm making more or like that? But I've always
Is that what it is, Kay? Is that what it is?
Because I would say stuff like, oh, like I did this at work today, or like I closed this deal at work, and it would just be kind of like
It's a money thing.
okay, like that's great. It would be no interest of no like follow-up questions of like, oh, how did you do that? Or I'm just so proud of you. It was just more of like a okay. So I felt like it was not I wasn't being supported.
You were right.
Right.
I
He's not
wasn't being
interested in
supported.
what you're doing.
Yeah,
so-
you're not being supported. I feel like do you disagree, B?
I feel like pride comes before the fall. So any man that is too proud, he's on his pathway to destruction, because the ego is what's going to be his ultimate destruction. So I feel like in situations where girls have guys who are very egotistical, they can't stand to see their woman really thrive and like ascend to that next level. In a lot of ways, I feel like it has less to do with the woman and just more to do with him as a man. Like, you as a man, you haven't been tested in the right ways that have allowed you to understand that we all have our gifts. And maybe she's gifted at making money. Let her run her gift. You might be gifted at something else. So fall into your gift, but to be jealous or to have some resentment towards your woman or to your partner because they're better at something than you are, in many ways, I feel like that's childish. Like that. In a lot of ways, I feel like you childish, and it's just like
okay.
let her have her strength, and you build upon your strength. Build upon that, and then you have your strength, and y'all build upon that, and together we can be stronger as a unit. Yeah. But if you always are kind of in your feelings, or like, what's the word I'm looking for? If you in your feelings about how it is that she moves, and like if it's just something that's simply getting your money, like understand that money ebbs and flows. I feel like we've all in the room been in a situation where we were up and we was down. Maybe she's in the up season. All right, if you in your down, let her carry you, because at the time she might be down, you might be in the up season.
Right.
And
have to carry her.
And might have to carry her. So what it like,
Teamwork.
as I say, if you got somebody who's willing to mess with you on that level, you really should feel blessed. but I know everybody don't see it like that.
Yeah, you see things a lot different than a lot of men we
I was just
encounter
gonna say.
on a
Everybody
day to
see it like
day.
that.
Brandon,
don't see it.
we don't get.
of nigga.
Yo, you're a different breed. We don't get this perspective often.
Because
But
men's are they're told to like be providers, you know what I mean? So I feel like it comes from that.
I mean,
that
provision don't
standpoint.
always come like
Financially.
No,
It
no.
doesn't.
You
It's
can
not
provide, you can
financial.
provide emotionally, you can provide spiritually, you can provide mentally.
Absolutely.
You can just be a
I
support
agree with that
system.
100%,
I mean-
but a lot of men think financial.
You're right.
That's-
You're right.
that's-
You're
that's-
right.
That's the culture for
As I
you.
say, that's a result of the things that are promoted
been
to
taught.
them. Like, you
Exactly.
know,
That's the culture for you.
the culture will tell you that a man's value only resides in his pockets. When I tell you,
Yep.
when y'all are walking down the street scared at night, I guarantee a man's value is provided when he's standing there right next to you.
Or
That money
making
don't
sure
make a difference.
you're not on the side of the
I was
street where
saying,
the cars are
that money
coming.
didn't make a difference in that
Providing
moment
it-
when you were scared. So it's
Exactly.
like people fall.
Get on the other side of the street.
I was
Oh,
say
let me-
they fall into that media promotion where it's like, if you don't got enough money, you ain't worth nothing. I was like, believe me,
Okay.
it's
And we see-
it's a lot of clowns
That
with
is just
dollars.
not
That have
Like,
money.
It's a lot
And
of
we see
clowns
a
with dollars
comment
couldn't
that
do nothing
says-
for you.
that says material things don't make a man or women. It's free national standards and principles. So how much you make or versus how much he makes, that really shouldn't factor into y'all's relationship. If it's built on the foundation of both of you caring about each other, love, support, that
Mhm.
emotional, physically, however, it is that's
Hey,
needed.
look, it definitely shouldn't matter if it's our money. Shit.
Or if you with me, and if you making the money,
the account joint.
if you're making-
our money, why do it matter?
but she's saying
Your
from a
money.
dating aspect, so the
Right.
account not
There
joint.
is
But
no hour
if I'm
money.
with you, because I can say, hey,
Maybe I'm speaking a little too.
hey, baby, you got the bill, so that's when you gotta hit
If it's
that.
premature like that, you might be right.
Well, no, because you can say, baby, you got the bill tonight. Well, when you take your card out, slip it under the table and give it to me, so I can look like I'm paying for the
I
meal.
am.
You know,
I was saying, you also got
No,
to
we
take
I've
I'm
never
doing
done
money.
that before.
I mean,
I'm paying
I'm
for it,
saying,
sir. Yes, I'm paying for it.
if it's a pride
You
thing,
got it next time.
if it's a pride thing, I mean, if your man tell you that there's something that he have a problem with, hey, you on the front like you paying for dinner, baby, do that. Like I'm still here with you.
I get
I
it.
know
We
I'm
put a
paying-
pity for the man.
If it's that
Yeah,
real.
that's
love. That's love, right?
that's true love.
I feel like that's compromise. Like maybe I don't want it looking like okay, because you said the men are about the look. So if you care about what it is that other people think, then hey, let's help change their perspective.
I mean, and that speaks to the woman that you're with. If she's willing to let you put her on that front for your own ego, that's shout out to her. Like shout out to her. You got your real one that you just stay by your
Okay.
side.
Yeah,
Hey,
because
stay by her
if
side.
it bothers you,
That real
I
one should
mean,
stay by your side. That means she's really in tune with you. She cares about how you feel.
about how you feel.
about how you feel about the situation.
Do you
Check
think
out
men
love.
pay attention to things like that?
Not all men. Not all men. Certain men.
But
do.
why? Why do you think dudes are not in tune? To
Everybody didn't grow up.
sensible things?
Everybody didn't grow up that way. Everybody didn't have the examples to be able to provide them the perspective to be able to see things in a certain way that they're cognizant of what's actually going on.
That's starting to be the root of the conversation, though. Like it's like we're realizing there's a lot of men that just didn't have those type of leadership and mentors to actually push them to be the men that we're looking for.
I think
know?
it's women too. I can't put that all on the man because again, if you are with the woman and you're a man that feel like you can deal with the woman making more than you, but you get with a woman who don't care about your feelings or your ego. And when you go to her and say, babe, I don't like what I just said. I don't like the way you look when you the one paying the bill. And you have women that say, boy, ain't nobody thinking about that. Like we eating, we out. Then that's causing him to curl up or to feel whatever type of way to where now he's not able to give you his all because his pride or his ego is broken. I'm not saying that that's right, but I'm saying that a lot of men, pride is very important to them. So I think when you're younger, you have to think about it. Moms or dads, who's ever raising the male, the son, you're teaching them, you open doors for women. You're teaching them, when you go on a date, you do this, you do that. You don't how many times are women as children, how many times are we taught how to care for a man? How many times are our moms telling us, hey, you do this with this man if he's feeling this type of way, be his support system. Be able to go and massage him for like we really don't get taught. We don't get taught that. But men are shown from the beginning. You know what I'm saying? Nephews, godsons, sons, whatever. Like we're teaching them those things of this is what you do when you go out with a woman. Make sure when you're the man, you have to do X, Y, Z. So I don't think it's all within the lack of men knowing leadership as it is with women as well. I think both parties play a part. It's a disconnect with the relationships, period.
Yeah,
I can't just put it all on,
It's not all
on the male.
Mhm.
So
For sure.
I feel like in a lot of times people just don't effectively communicate their frame of reference. I feel like there are a lot of times where people expect others to know how I should feel in the situation just because you know me. Read my mind essentially, but not understand that we all have different frame of references for a bunch of different things. The way you see a situation, the way I see a situation can be two completely different things.
Right.
And just because I know you shouldn't feel as entitled to the fact that I should understand how you feel and how you see the situation when I'm in my own body. Sometimes I need you to explain to me again. You might have to reiterate it for the third, fourth time. In this moment, I feel like this for me to be able to still understand that this is where you coming from, because you're gonna come to me in a situation and be like, you should have just known that this was how I was feeling. And for me, I'm like, let me tell you, I saw it from a completely different way. But had you taken the time to sit back and tell me, hey, look, in this moment, this is how I felt. Well, now you give me a chance to say, okay, I get to understand where you coming from. And then I get a chance to then kind of, for all intents and purposes, like kind of abide or fall in line with what it is that you're doing to kind of make you feel more secure, more love, more whatever in that situation, so that we don't run into these roads. But I feel like too many times people just expect others to be in line with that frame of reference that they got, and that's not true. Like you got to reiterate
it all boils down to effective communication.
Man, I told you.
Hey, and reiterate effective and reiterated communication. Don't feel like just because you told somebody one time that the next time a similar situation comes up that they're automatically gonna like recognize that you're right back in this same frame of reference, because that ain't true. It could be a slightly different, slightly similar situation, and they still don't see it because they're not in your mind. They're not in your body. You got to tell them that.
That part.
They got to tell them what's happening.
Open your mouth.
Open up your mouth.
Closed mouths do not get
It's
Talk
interesting
to
you
'em.
say that, because I feel like a lot of men have hard times like expressing how they feel or their emotions, and like
women
with their
too, 'cause I have a
experiencing-
problem.
I over communicate. I don't know. Like I feel like I'm going
Same.
to over communicate how I feel. And that's always been me. Like I'm going to tell you exactly what's going on.
And try to pull your feelings
Yeah, and
out
try to
of
pull
you.
your
like,
feelings out too.
right.
So I'm feeling like this. So you feeling like this
Right.
too?
Or you
like,
were acting like this. Like, does that mean
Mhm.
XYZ? Like, correct me. Yeah.
I feel like I always have to pull it out of my guy. Like
So you feel like you don't date emotionally intelligent men.
not all the time. So on a few occasions, I had somebody who just was very good at expressing themselves, but most of the time I am feeling like I'm pulling it out of them. They just, so it's interesting that you're like volunteering that, because
I mean,
I don't get that a lot.
I feel like emotional intelligence isn't like something that's promoted in today's society. I feel like there are a lot of people, men and women, who lack general emotional intelligence. So because that isn't something that's prominent in today's society, I feel like you are going to run into a lot of situations where you're going to try to get people to open up and express how they feel about themselves, about the situation, maybe even about you. And they might not even have the words to describe. They might have a feeling, but they don't even know how to describe the feeling because they haven't spent enough time with themselves to be able to sit back and say, hey,
Process it.
right, this is what it is. We, in a world where everything is like so fast, I feel like what we all lack, or what a lot of people lack, is just the general ability to think. I think a lot of people don't even think for themselves anymore. They follow a trend. They follow the trend. Whether they agree with it or not, they follow the trend. They don't really
You
think
don't
for
even
themselves.
realize you're doing
They
it.
don't even realize. They don't even think for themselves. They just follow what's hot.
Exactly.
Majority.
Wow.
They just follow
It's
what's hot.
majority, whatever the majority say is where you're going.
Yeah, whatever's
That's why you
popular is
just
the
gotta
way
get out
that
for
we're
a
going.
second.
Yeah, but for me to sit back and really think for myself and to really have a true opinion about how do I feel about what's going on in this moment.
And being able to express that with your
Yeah.
partner,
And that-
open, vulnerable,
Yeah.
transparency, honesty. Yeah.
Yeah, nah, because because it's easier to go with the crowd than to stand solo on your own.
Right.
Sometimes when you think you gotta
You
stand
better
on your
say
own.
that.
Well, I took
Oh,
Brandon preaching
like,
today,
I
y'all.
know, bro.
Okay, he
You can't
always
say
was
nothing.
preaching. I don't know.
That's
Hey,
true.
look, I'm just getting y'all the real. I told you, I ain't saying nothing I ain't ever seen before. I ain't. He's hard for him to stand on his own. It is.
Oh, you say he? Are you speaking of
He or she. It's
Okay.
hard you stand on his own. It's hard to stand on your own.
No, for sure.
Yeah. So you know.
You know. Hey,
Okay.
man, we flipped that mud all the way.
Yeah, I mean-
sideways, up and down.
You tell that way you want to see the
diagonal.
screen.
Oh,
Man, we
well,
playing bingo in this mud.
it is. Hey,
That
B
mud
is for
is
bingo.
flipped, okay?
Yeah.
That mud
All
is
right.
flipped.
So it seems like that is our time. I think we addressed most of the comments that were relevant to today's conversation. Y'all want to have any closing remarks? I mean, Brandon just
Hey.
did a number.
Hey,
So-
Number.
man, thank y'all for tuning in to Flip the Script. Man, this was a real conversation. Like, we got really deep.
Mhm.
I feel like I should shed a tear a little bit because I kind of got vulnerable. Man, okay.
Oh, man.
But nah, it's your girl Bree, that girl Bree. Y'all follow Flip the Script on Instagram. Y'all follow Flip the Script on YouTube. Follow Flip the Script.
Yes, and we will be back next week, same time, same place, same vibe. Y'all want to do a toast while we close out?
Hey
Because
man.
it's a wrap.
Hey, cheers to an episode, man. It was good to see y'all.
Y'all
Hey
repo
Another
me.
episode.
man, if y'all
And
with
this
us, stay
script
one.
has been flipped.
Here we go.
What? Gotta flip the script one day.